And before we even get started, I want to throw a quick disclaimer and product placement in, because ordinarily I can't talk to a woman this talented and this attractive without a nice cold glass of 44 North vodka. Cheers!
Cheers.
Hi, I'm Vernon Scott with Eye on Sun Valley's Talk of the Town. This week, the Talk of the Town is soul singer Emily Stanton. Emily's playing Whiskey Jacques Saturday, October 15th at the legendary Ketchum nightclub. You've played Whiskey Jacques before. How many times have you been here?
We've been here 4 times as the Emily Stanton Band. Very excited to be back.
For those who may not know, Emily is an Idaho homegrown talent. She's become one of the most popular live acts in the state. She plays all over, but you began life as a fiddler.
I did.
Correct?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in a big fiddle group called the Idaho Junior Jammers, and we would play for all kinds of seniors, and we put on 2 major productions a year, but I was one of the junior jammer fiddle players, and I grew up playing bluegrass and old time contest fiddle music, so really got into that at a young age. Early on.
How did you make the transition from being a junior jammer fiddling for seniors to, you know, your current stage persona? That's a big leap.
You know, I was always fascinated by professional performers and professional entertainers because they had this sultry, sexy, real organic vibe to them that I always wanted to have. I wanted to emulate that and create that for myself. And growing up in a world where it was country and bluegrass and, you know, long dresses, and it was wonderful for growing up, but then as I matured into more of a woman during, you know, the songwriting years, it really kind of developed into, this is something that I want to do for my own self and for my music. And so watching artists like Whitney Houston was a huge influence on me.
Were there other influences when you were younger that kind of sparked your imagination and creativity, and you were able to hear them or look at them and say, yes, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, as far as entertainers go, I grew up watching Britney Spears come out. Songwriters like Carole King, James Taylor, there's a lot that helped me develop my own music. But
Carole King, another local talent.
Yes.
Or, not local, but she lives here now.
Amazing.
And am I correct? Aren't you recording an album or participating in an album with the legendary Carole King as well?
Yes, just recently.
Tell us about that.
I wrote a song that's going to be going on an album being released around Christmas time. It's for the Idaho Food Bank. So I wrote a tune called Tonight's Gonna Be Alright, and that's a featured track on this album.
You've gone from the junior jammers to actually jamming on an album with Carole King. That's incredible. I mean, that's got to be a songwriter, you know, a singer-songwriter's dream.
Absolutely. Couldn't said it any better.
At what point did you realize that maybe that's not what I am? Maybe I'm a diva. Maybe I'm a soul singer.
I was 16 and I was in this band, a bar band.
What were they called?
Redstone.
Redstone. Okay.
Yeah, it was Redstone, and they hired me to be a fiddle player and a backup vocalist. And I got to watch the main vocalist kind of entertain the crowd night after night, and I was so intrigued by that captivating kind of feel that he was getting from just bar patrons and people that dug the current popular, maybe even some classic rock music. And I thought, that's exactly what I want to do. I want that job.
Did it dawn on Redstone, what are we doing with this woman in the back?
Yeah, I was
Why
a
isn't
kid.
she out front?
I was a kid at the time, and I was happy just to have a gig, you know? I was happy just to be playing live music on a stage with other musicians that were really developed. So that was an opportunity for me at a young age that really impacted me.
I've heard some of your original music, which is gorgeous. You know, I'm a fan.
Thank you.
At what point did you develop the temerity to actually start writing your own stuff? Because that's another big leap. I mean, it seems like your career has progressed in big, arcing, leapfrogging steps over itself.
Great question.
At what point did you start writing songs, and when did you feel like you were ready and that you could actually do it?
I was ready at a really young age. Around 16 was really kind of that moment for me that I realized I could either sing somebody else's song or I could sing one of my own. And that really fascinated me because I wanted to share. I was kind of an introverted kid. I wanted to, you know.
That seems hard to imagine.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a very sweet sincerity and connectedness, not only to what you're singing and to your bandmates, but really to the audience. And I think that's what they respond to.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not an impersonal performance.
Not at all.
You know, oddly enough, to see you live is very much like being with you personally. It's a very kind of one-on-one experience, which is an interesting concept when you're talking about playing to a large crowd.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that is something that I strive to do as an artist, to connect with people, to bring them into my space and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to share with you. And maybe you can relate to me in some ways, or maybe you can't. Either way, let's have a great evening. Let's have a good time of art, of live music.
Emily, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course, always a pleasure to see you, always a privilege to be able to come out and listen to you play. This has been Vernon Scott for Eye on Sun Valley's Talk of the Town, talking this week with the great Emily Stanton, who will be performing with the Emily Stanton Band, Whiskey Jacques. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you at Whiskey Jacques.
Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.